Hello? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm back. That apparently someone was making popcorn or toast or something, or I don't know, but whatever food they were making burnt. So that set off the fire alarm. Okay, exciting. Anyways, let's continue. Where was I even? Yeah, I was talking about meandering rivers, how you can see remnants of Oxbow Lakes here and here. Yeah, I can smell it now. When you go outside into the hallway, that's like boom in your face. But I closed my door, so and my window's open, so it's not very strong. But yeah, it kind of started creeping in. So I also was talking about how cool it'd be if there's glaciers or like glacial formations in maybe like Snezhnaya or something like that. So this is an example of a horn like that I was talking about and trying to describe. So it's very this one's not super pointed, but it's very yeah, just very tall and kind of like horn like, and it's created by this part being carved out here. See how it's carved out? Probably like on the other side and like here, and then the edge, these edges like right here, the mouse is going across. That is the a a tell, how do you pronounce it? But that's yeah. So it's made up of like three or more of these. Here is a hanging valley. Sorry for the blurry picture. But here you can see it's like a U-shaped valley, and then obviously the trees kind of make it flat, but it's probably U-shaped here, and it's very large, right? And then here you can see this is the hanging valley because there used to be another glacier here, so you can see this U-shaped valley up this way, and then it just kind of like, and this is where the smaller one here kind of connected to this bigger one. So after the glacier receded, it left this giant kind of like cliff face here, so the hanging valley. So I find it really cool. You can tell where they were. Another interesting feature created by glaciers is there's like a U-shaped valley, but it's been filled in with water, and that's called a fjord. Spell it out. Whoops. Spell it out for you down below. But yeah, so a fjord is basically a U-shaped valley by a glacier filled in with water. So here, the Atel, or however you pronounce it, like here's a closer example, like a different angle, and here are people. So then you can see like it's been carved out here on either side, and it's just like this very skinny kind of pointy ridge. Can I type here? No. Okay. Here is a cirque. Yeah. So that's how you spell cirque. The fjord is spelt like this. So that's a U-shaped valley filled in with water. So a cirque is where the glacier kind of sat and like carved and made this very circular kind of carved formation. And sometimes I guess there might be water because it could have melted, I guess. But yeah, it's very circular and round. And then sometimes there'd be kind of like, I guess you can say, an exit, and that's where it kind of went down. Other formations would be these things called drop stones. So you can see this kind of makes you think of rocks in Inazuma, very brown, very horizontal, very fine, thin layers. So this is a dropstone is basically, yeah, here, dropstone, that's what it's called. Maybe we can make the picture slightly smaller so the text would go with the picture. So basically, what happens is there's going to be like a bed of, sediment, very fine, it's very horizontal. And then after a glacier has like been there, and since glaciers have the, biggest, strongest force and they can carry huge boulders, um, sometimes it'd be dropped into the water. And then when it sinks, it would drop and it would, make this indent here. And then afterwards, more sedimentation would, go over and settle it, and it makes this kind of formation. So that's pretty cool. And these are made from glaciers as well. But yeah, this type, I don't know what type of rock, because again, I'm not a professional geologist. But yeah, this just makes me think of rocks in Inazuma. Another cool feature is Kettle Lakes. I mean, there's lots of features, but this is just what I had in just kind of prepared in this little document. But Kettle Lakes is basically when glacial ice, like huge chunks of it, just kind of like drop and just are, I guess, left behind, and then it creates these very circular kind of like lakes, and then the ice would melt and it leave behind, these circular lakes, and they're called Kettle Lakes. So that's very interesting. I don't know what else I can do, because I've been filming for now the continuation for, and it's only 6 minutes, and that be I don't know. Maybe we can search up other things. Do I have anything else open though? Yeah, I like my Studio Ghibli. Yeah, you can see the remnants of, yeah, the things download or got. Yeah, I really love Studio Ghibli. So when I heard that in the 2.0 update like video thing, that for Inazuma they kind of got inspiration from Studio Ghibli, I was like, oh, Studio Ghibli? It's like, oh yeah, I can totally understand. Studio Ghibli is beautiful. And I think they were saying like that the grass and things, sometimes it has like a bluish tint to it, and that's kind of like from a bit inspiration from Studio Ghibli. I mean, I can search up other maybe glacial formations. I think there's tills I remember seeing in my notes literally today. Okay, so basically, glacial till is very like the when you look at the bedding. Oh, that's a really small picture. Okay. It's very unsorted, because, as I keep repeating, here we are, unsorted, like stratified material, and it's just like mix of all sorts of sizes. So, you can kind of tell, because there's just gonna be like fine stuff and there's gonna be huge stuff mixed in. Yeah, here. Yeah, there's a lot of features that I kind of forgot about until I looked over my notes. Drumlins, right, is a thing. So it's this type of feature, very like teardrop looking feature, that also are from glaciers. I can't remember, but depending on looks drumlin. So the steeper side, and then there's like a shallower side, and then it says direction of flow. So I don't know. I can't remember. Oh, okay. So yeah, so it tells you which direction the glacier was moving, I guess. So the steeper side points to where it came from, I assume, looking at this graph. I remember when I was learning about it and I was like still confused. but it's very, very distinct feature. See how it's very like teardrop. Oh, okay, this is kind of a blurry picture again, but see how it's very teardrop shaped. And here you can also see this one makes it look like an avocado, but yeah, so it's very like oblong kind of, you know. What other features? Oh yeah, there's moraines and stuff. Here, Kettle Lakes, right? That I mentioned as well. Drumlin fields, so like the drumlins. There's some really cool I can't remember. I think it's sort of like tunnel lakes. Maybe search up glacial tunnels. Tunnel valley. Tunnels. Not quite what I was thinking of. It's still cool though. Any like questions maybe? Arete, right? I can see my search bar here. Arete. That's that like pointed edge thing, like here. This is the arete. This would be an arete. The arete's like here, this very top point. But did you kind of understand my Toblerone like reference? Like if you have a Toblerone, it's like the top part is would be called the arete. What other glacial features maybe? Features. Oh yeah, you can also tell where glaciers kind of connected and joined, because there's gonna be this like these things called moraines. It's kind of a blurry picture. But basically, you can so there's gonna be like just one glacier here, right? And there's another one, but then when they join and they finally connect, there's this thing called the middle or medial here moraine. So you can see there's like all the rock and stuff from like I guess the edges that they carved out here that connected, and then there's lateral terrains and lateral moraines and terminal moraines. And then so terminal is like where the glacier kind of ended and like started depositing the stuff here, and then like laterals is so you can see the sides of it. You can probably find a real life picture of these moraines. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, tarns are lakes that are left behind, I think, in a cirque is what it is. So see how this is a cirque? It's very circular and it just kind of like goes. And then here you can see hanging valleys. Here's a hanging valley. And then this is like the U-shaped valley that like all of these kind of went towards. Yeah, so horns very sharp, pointed. Yeah, tarns. And then if the glacier like totally melts away, I think so the moraines will be left behind. You can see like where they joined. Like that. See that? There's the laterals here, and then the medial one right here. And you can tell that they joined up here. Yeah, so I was like wondering if I should put in more like realistic pictures or like diagrams. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna do a mix. Let's search up Glacial Moraines so you can see maybe like a real life picture. Okay, okay. So you can see that this is where they joined in the middle. See how there's like a bunch of like dirt and rock and everything. Here's also a good picture. You can see how there's multiple medial moraines. So here's like one of them that joined here. There's another here. There's another here that joined, and here's another that joined. I can search up fjords as well. So it's like a U-shaped valley filled in with water. I feel like that's kind of difficult to tell if it's like U-shaped or not, because then the bottom is covered with water. But still pretty cool. What other things can I search up while we're here, just to make this video a little bit longer, I guess? Ooh. Black beaches. Yeah, so the sand is literally black from like volcanic rocks and stuff. Like, I've never seen it in person before, but it looks really cool. Like, just wow, you know? Oh, look at that. Here's the basalt pillars, right? And then here's the black beach. So, yeah, you see a lot of basalt pillars in the, but it'd be cool if in Outland there'd be, you know, black beaches. Or, giant crystal caves. Yeah, giant crystal caves, I guess. Yeah, like, look at that. Wouldn't that be so cool to see in, in Genshin? So these are intrusive, right? They're in a cave, and they're giant. Like, here's a person, here's a dude, and this is how big it is. So they've had a really long time to form. So this is really cool. Like, wow, amazing. What's this? These are crystals? They look very metamorphic rock-like. And so, just so you know, Metamorphic Rocks. Oops. There we go. Oh, okay. This is very interesting. So you can have the same type of material, like or chemical composition, but depending on what process it went through, it creates different types of stone. So this, I'm pretty sure, is all the same, like the chemical, each mineral and, you know, inside of all of this is the same, but I think for the crystallization, like the formation of it, and like, see here, increasing metamorphism, it makes it different. So shale, I think shale is a type of mudstone, so it's very like fine. I think it creates, it's a type of, I think shale is a type of rock where it's very horizontal layers, and then if you break it, it breaks off in like those thin horizontal layers. I can search it up. Shale. Yeah, see how it's very horizontal, very fine. And then see how it's very like thin. So this also helps you determine kind of what rock it is when you start classifying and everything, is the seeing how the rock would break. So this would have, I think, one plane, like it's just the one plane, so it always breaks like in these thin sheets sort of things. I think muds, and you can go to all, see what happens. Yeah, mud or clay and can be split easily into fragile slabs. So, fine grains, sedimentary rock. Yeah, so this is, let's go back to the metamorphic rocks. So the more pressure or like the more like heat that's been applied, that increases the metamorphism and changes the look. And then a lot of metamorphic rocks can have like these, when you have these thin layers, but then they've been bent. Like, see how it's been curved and bent? And that, doesn't form, that doesn't, we establish that for sedimentary rock, they normally form, nice horizontal layers. But then when they start bending like this, then it's been under some pressure. Like here, see how it's just been bent? But all the layers have been bent the same. So that also helps you determine, like when you look at, what are some really, I don't know what they're called. You can tell kind of what happened in a place if you have like a rock layer, I guess, an exposed rock face, and then you can kind of see which event happened and like kind of determine which one happened first and which one happened later, because of how sediments would naturally just layer down. I don't know what to search out for that though. Exposed rocks, maybe? Not quite. Oh, here, okay. So, when you see an exposed rock face, okay, it's a kind of blurry picture though. I hope you can see it though. Like, it's okay. General shape, oh, it cleared up, okay. But normally, rocks, the layers are horizontal, but this curve is from a type of tectonic plate formation. Again, I recognize it, but I can't think of the name. It's kind of annoying for me. I'm so frustrated at myself. But yeah, sometimes if there's multiple, you can see like it's a wave and everything. So this is like gone under metamorphic process. I have notes on these, but that's not it. Another cool feature is that depending on okay, so normally, well, okay, you can tell when there's been water, so, because of these things called ripple marks. And then depending if it's symmetrical or asymmetrical, you can tell kind of the location. So it's another rule where like normally you'd like the rules you see today probably applied in the past. So like, if you go to the beach and then you see these, right? You see the ripple marks, but it's like sand, you can like mess it up and everything. But that rule of water making these ripple marks still applied probably in the past. So when you see rocks and then you can see the ripple marks, you know that this has probably been in water. And then depending on if it's asymmetrical or symmetrical, I think symmetrical would be if it's on the beach, because the waves is like, constantly go, in and out and in and out. While I think in like rivers and streams, it'd be asymmetrical. So you can kind of see like direction of flow. Asymmetrical ripple marks. Like here. See how this is like a long side and a short side, or shallower side and a steeper side. But this is here. So if it's symmetrical, it's probably from like a beach or something, or where the water constantly, consistently goes in and out. While if there's like the shallow and then the steep, you can tell that the current is like which direction the current was flowing, which I find pretty cool. See here, equal slopes on the beach is normally symmetrical. Asymmetrical, it makes a gentler slope, and then this goes into a steep slope. This would also apply to sand, so you can tell where there's been sand, like sand dunes and everything. Yeah. Cross bedding is what it's called. So it's really cool when you see, like, is this one a good picture? Yeah, see, look, you can see that, how, like, I don't know, this is really interesting. You can also, depending on the angle, you can see which way the wind was going. I still get confused. It looks like the same principle, the shallower angle and then steeper angle. But when it gets to have layers, that's when I get confused. But I think the current here was flowing right to left. It looks like. So yeah, here you can tell, like, sand and the wind and everything. And I think depending on how steep or shallow, it could also tell you how fast the wind was traveling. So see how nice that is? So crossbedding, isn't the same as like some geological feature, because I'm pretty sure that it's like multiple like layers that look like this. Yeah. Again, I'm not a expert, so I don't know. I'm not like completely sure. That would be cool. It would be cool to see crossbedding and also ripple marks and mud cracks in Fontaine, actually. Or not Fontaine, Sumeru. I'm gonna say Sumeru, I don't know. Because when you talk to, what's his name? That merchant dude who, you give kind of like regular stuff to him, but then he gives you like really good stuff back. He has like a kind of like this interesting sort of like afro sort of hair-ish, and then like he has sunglasses and like a mustache, and I think he's normally dressed in purple. Anyways, that dude, he has been to Sumeru before, and he described it as like part desert and part forest and stuff, like and I think some people are saying that Sumeru is based off of like Egypt or like the Middle East. And then Egypt is like, there's sandy deserts, and then there's the Nile River with all the lush areas. But it'd be cool to see if there are like ripple marks, the mud cracks and stuff, and crossbedding. Especially if there's gonna be like a sandy desert, crossbedding I feel like would be pretty cool to see. Mud cracks, you can tell, like it'd be kind of cool, like, oh, there used to be water here, but then the earth, the water, evaporated, and then the ground dried and cracked like that. That'd be kind of cool to see, maybe even, depending, I don't know, the story and everything. And then ripple marks would also be pretty cool. Maybe we can talk about earthquakes. Earthquakes are really interesting. I don't know. Remnants of or earthquake cracks? What's that? Not quite. What the heck? Huh? Okay. So there's 3 types, I think, of like earthquakes and stuff. But one very interesting one is a not earthquake, maybe plate tectonic earthquake maybe or something. But at a transform plate boundary, when the plates are, they just slide past each other, they don't get pressed in or spread out. You can tell if there's been which direction has been real life, I guess. Yeah, especially if there's like some kind of river or whatever. Well, this is not. Well, that's weird. Landforms. I don't know how to like explain it well. As to like show you, but I'm not finding any good pictures. Okay, so maybe if I search up or just keep clicking and seeing. It's really cool if you actually see a picture, like a real life picture of it. Okay, let's just use this as an example. It's not there. Okay, so if there's like, just say this is a river instead of a road, and you can tell like it's a transform boundary because the river would suddenly disconnect, right? It'd just be like, dunk, and then it'd be very, and then I think if it was a river, it'd also just run along here and connects back, but it would be very angular. And then the way you would describe it, see how like this suddenly just separated, like it's a very clean line, but I think it's like either right or left, and it's, if you're, just say you're standing here and looking at the other plate boundary, this would have been left. It would have like slid left to like from where you're standing and looking. So you'd call it like a left transform or something like that. Well, if this was instead was over here, you'd say it's right. Because if you're standing here and looking out this way, and this was like, just say over here instead, it slid to the right of you. So you would say it's like a right transform boundary. Yeah, or like, it's a very like clean kind of cut. Strike slip fault. Oh, I think. Yeah, see how it kind of like, you can tell like this is where water is running down, and then it suddenly like woo right over here, and then it starts continuing. So you can tell it's if you're standing here, it looked like it went right. Yeah, so it'd be a right slip one, or I can't remember exactly how it's called, but yeah. So you can tell, like, you know, the direction and everything. Oh, what's that? Here's your rock formation. There's this really cool. Not quite this. Can't remember what it's called though. I can search it up on this here. Oh wait, did I? Oh no, I didn't. Oh, thank goodness. I was in the wrong folder and I thought I like deleted my past school files. I'm like, wait, I didn't do that, did I? And I was just in the wrong folder. Which semester? This one? Yes. Oh yeah, you can also tell like how the angle when you're doing plate tectonics, you can like you can tell if the is at like subduction zones. So subduction plate boundaries are three types of plate tectonics. One is subduction, so you can tell the angle of the subducting plate because depending on where like the volcanoes are and where mountain ranges are, which is very interesting. So the closer the mountain range and volcanoes are to like the edge of the plate on top, like normally it's like a continental crust because it's more buoyant. So the closer it is to the, I guess you can say like the coast, there's or like sometimes it'd be like in the water, but the closer it is to the edge of the over top layered crust, the steeper the subducting plate is. So I think in Japan the plate is very very steep, and it basically forms like volcanoes and mountains like right here in the edge. And because there's a point where the pressure and the heat is hot enough to melt the lithosphere, and then that melted magma would go up because it's hotter, so it's more buoyant than everything else, and it'd come up and it'd form, you know, the volcanoes and mountain ranges. So the shallower this angle is, the further out the mountain range and volcanoes would be, because it would have to be further and further until like it actually starts going down to like, and then get deep enough to start melting. So then the, you know, volcanoes and mountains would be like way further inland. And sometimes it's so shallow where it just kind of like goes under, but then it just rests right underneath. And so I think it would create mountain ranges, but there would be no volcanoes because it didn't go deep enough to melt and create volcanoes. So that's pretty cool as well. Yeah, so there's like the mountain range, and there's like a point where it's deep enough where it melt and start rising and make the volcanoes. So if I search up maybe like Japan tectonic plate, maybe plate map. Like I'm pretty sure it's so steep where like this is where they form. And that's why this is called the Ring of Fire, because there's so many volcanoes here. and I think it's all like subduction going on. So that's why it's called the Ring of Fire, because there's just all volcanoes and everything. Anyways, oh, I can just search out. Let's see if I can find the picture that I use in my report. Normal angle subduction versus low angle. Yeah, this is the picture I use. So this, like, see how the steeper it is, the quicker it like reach to the right depth and like melt. But then sometimes it's like super shallow where it just kind of like slip underneath, and there'd be no volcanoes. I talked about fissures, but I didn't have pictures. Fissure eruption, I think would be best. So it's basically these like this thin crack where the lava would come out. See, like that. So you'd just be like a crack, and it just like come up in this kind of like sheet, I guess. So this is normally associated with the effusive or the very runny, less viscous lava. Ah, here it is. Okay, so this is a really cool formation. It says ship rock in, is it Navajo? But here, like this is a remnant of a fissure. And this is, I'm pretty sure that's the main like volcanic column. Like, so if there's like the rest of the mountain here, like this is kind of where like the big main pipe would be, and that's where it would come out. So it got to a point where the lava or magma inside the fissure here, and it looks like here, and inside the main volcanic like pipe or column cooled, and then the rest of it weathered and eroded away, and this is what's left. So that's a really cool formation. Like here, see, this is like the fissure here. This is also really cool. See how like it's this very thin sheet that's vertical, like that, and it's darker, right? So it's like basalt, I think it would be. So that's a cool formation. Hello? Volcano, maybe charts to see like the parts of the volcano. Yeah, so that that big central part of the shiprock, that would be this main vent here. The main vent. So like it probably like was in here and then cooled, and then the rest of the volcano kind of went away, and then what was left was the cooled lava. And then since there were like fissures as well, so it'd be like these cracks and stuff here, and then the magma would be there. It like also cooled, and then stayed after this whole thing kind of eroded away. Yeah, so there's different parts of a volcano. So there's the sill, so it's like a windowsill, so it's like a horizontal layer of magma. And then dikes are vertical. And then there's like a laccolith, which is like a mushroom shaped thing. But you can use these to determine in a, what would you call it, like a 3D kind of, what are those things called? 3D geological model, maybe. Whoops, that's not what I meant. But Like, not quite this. But when you have, when you're studying geology, you sometimes have like a 3D model of like the layers beneath it, and using, how sediments are usually horizontal and like um, different rules like that, you can determine what event came kind of like before or after something. So I don't know what you would call those. I can't remember what they're called. Um, 3D block diagram. I think that's what it was called. Oh yeah, this is like, I was telling you about that kind of metamorphic curve, but it was like the other way. Yeah, there's a really cool things about that. And here, I remember seeing, I remember this and this. Oh. But yeah, block diagrams. Yeah, these. Oh yeah, so this is. So that metamorphic kind of exposed rock picture, if you remember, it's a syncline, so it curved like this, right? It was like a bowl shape. And then depending on the rock layers, you can actually determine which is like oldest and which is newest. And it depends on if it's an anticline, syncline, dome, or a basin. So for the syncline, the middle. Wait, is it always the same? It's been a while. Just say it's been cut. There's like a I can't remember. Probably have to look at my notes, but yeah. So these are like the block things, and they can help you. Here's an example. So, it's not really a good example of. I mean, it's very nice, but it's not quite an example of. Okay, I think this might be okay. So it's blurry, very blurry. I don't know if it's gonna load or stay like that. Oh, it's clear now. Okay. Okay, so when you get like a block diagram, a lot of times, at least in school, they'd say like, oh, which is like the oldest event and which is like the youngest event, like by layers. So, looking at this, it looks like layers A, B, C, D, E. I think it looks like were there. So they have settled and like they have formed rock now. And then the reason I didn't include F is because between E and F it looks very wavy. Like between F and G is also very wavy here. But I mean it might just be the texture of F. Okay, so A through F, let's say, is like the oldest. So A and F have formed and they're now rock. And then it looks like there is another layer, but then an earthquake happened. And this one, I think it looks like it was, what's it? compressed together because this has slipped up and this one has slipped down. So fault M, and I think, okay, let's ignore this side. Okay, and then focus on this side. So it looks like fault M formed after A to F, because there has to be rock before it can break, right? So that would be like the next event. And it looks like, oh wait, maybe F is actually eroded, because this one doesn't have F. Okay, so it looks like A through E were formed, then fault M happened because it cracked, and you can see it, slipped, but these layers are here, and then there's this layer. But then, since it's on the surface, it probably, had some weathering and erosion. And then afterwards, layer F came along and formed. Yep, nothing happening so far. It's F. And then erosion happened, so you can see this wavy line here. So it's been eroded a bit. And then G, H, and I came. And so now so I is like the current layer. See how it's like very wavy? It's at like the top here. And then it looks like this is a dike. See how it's horizontal? Not horizontal, it's vertical. So this is, so K is a dike from the volcano. And then here, this horizontal layer is a sill. So again, I'm just going to kind of ignore this one a bit. And it looks like dike K is last. I mean, after the erosion of surface I. But after G, H, and I kind of came and settled, dike K came through, because in order for this to even come through rock, there has to be rock, right? So K is after G, H, I have came and settled and made rock. And then now so now the newest event, the youngest event, is the erosion of the surface of I. So because you kind of know like these rules of like, it makes sense, like logically, like that's how you kind of can say which one would be oldest and youngest events and stuff. So that's also pretty cool. How else, like, I don't know if it makes sense. Like, for me, it makes sense, but also because I've taken the class and they just probably given better examples, but, oh, yeah. Yeah, all I can think of is, like, there has to be rock before a dike can, like, cut through it. So, yeah. It's kind of like you have to have a marshmallow before you can skewer it to, make s'mores. I guess that's the best example I can think of. So that's a pretty simple, I think. It can get even more complicated, especially if there's been some, like, metamorphic processes and stuff. So same if the layers were wavy, like just say D and E were wavy instead, it would be like, so A to C, just say were formed, and then like there'd probably be some erosion, maybe, and then like, wait, would that even make sense? I'm just trying to think like if it would make sense if there's like a more metamorphic on top of. I mean, I think that's possible. And there's different types of like. Sometimes it's like cuts or whatever in the rock, so there's like sometimes missing information. But yeah. A little glance into the world of geology and everything. So if you looked on this side, it's kind of the same thing, like A through E had to be there. Oh, it looks a little different actually here. So it looks like, yeah, A to E came. There's maybe some erosion, but then there is F, G, H, and I. You can see it here, but there is an erosion after F, but then this fault N happened. This one is... Okay, so L came after the fault because it's not split. Like if L came before the fault N, this part would probably be like up here. But since it's not, it came after fault N. Same with this intrusive granite J. Here, it's not split. So it also came after the fault N. But I think J came first and then L came, dike L came, because L cuts through J here. And then it formed that sill here. But yeah, there has to be rock first before anything can like cut through. And there has to be, you know, the rock there before this can cut through. And because this isn't split, it came after this fault. See, like here the rock has split because it was there, and then it was here, and then it split, and then it's been layered on top here. But yeah, that was just more of like a geology lesson than like Genshin. But I hope that was, you know, a little different, helps you visualize what I was talking about in the previous video and stuff. A little education, some interesting knowledge. But yeah. Now maybe when you go around, you can maybe find these sort of features and like, oh, I remember this. But yeah, this is a very nice picture. It's very smooth, but also very dangerous. So now you can kind of tell like what kind of lava maybe, you know, depending on the volcano shape. See remnants of past eruptions like that. You know, see where rivers might have been because of Oxbow Lakes. But yeah, wow, I can't believe I actually managed to stretch out the video. Yeah, I still don't really know how to fix this, how to manage OBS or Streamlabs and stuff. Yes, I don't know how I would actually make, because right now you just see everything on my screen. But if I just say wanted to have like starting soon. Be loud. You'd see me switching to OBS to switch scenes, which is not ideal. I didn't like because I don't have Prime. I don't really have like alerts or anything. And then and then the scene that the theme or whatever that I've chosen is kind of like provided. I mean, I guess I can make my own instead of choosing it's called dark matter, but I like it. It looks cool, but I don't want to have like starting soon and have like some other random video playing. But yeah, I don't know how to do this. I don't know who I can ask to even help me with this. But and can I even edit this, like the text stuff? Can I change it? I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting for my stream to catch up to where I am so I can see what viewers might see. Okay, so you do see just the stream ending screen instead of like everything. But yeah, I don't know how to yeah, I don't know how to change, like edit this stuff. I'll probably have to figure that out later. But yeah, thank you. Blurrily says in the under stream ending, but thank you for just, you know, coming over. Sorry for the interruption of the fire alarm of someone burning their toast or popcorn or whatever it was. Yeah, maybe I'll kind of do these when in, you know, between just Genshin playing, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Maybe have like a little bit of education, because that's, you know, interesting, I feel like, to see instead of just games, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I'll have to, like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but yeah, I have a YouTube now. I've posted my past streams up there. Still kind of figuring it out a bit, especially like if the whole subscribe and like next videos things is working or not. I mean, not that I have that many videos anyways, but yeah, just to see. But my YouTube link is in Twitch now. I did that last night. So, you know, if you're interested and want to see past streams or anything, they'll be there. My YouTube also has a link back to Twitch, because I'd be streaming on Twitch but then upload the videos later on YouTube. But yeah, hopefully I figure out OBS and figure out Twitch and YouTube and everything, but that's for later. So yeah, thank you for watching.